I came through, I was exposed to the giants of the swing era, okay? The Duke Ellingtons, Count Basie, Earl Father Hines, Nellie Letcher, Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald. There's not too many I didn't play with, really.
Charlie Burrell was called the Jackie Robinson of the classical world. When he was hired by the Denver Symphony in 1949, he became the first black symphonic musician in the United States.
I had always wanted to come to Denver, and because my mother was born here, and her name is Denver Rado, R-A-D-O, Denver Arado. That was her name. If it hadn't been for playing jazz, I could never have been a classical musician. One of the reasons why I chose the classics, after a while I realized that was my people, the black musicians in that day, had no place to play but the joints. The doors were all closed because there was no blacks in the classics then, okay? None, absolutely none.
A generation earlier, classically trained violinist George Morrison was told that he'd be hired if he were white. So George Morrison took up jazz.
He was the first. He started something, okay? He started the dynasty of jazz. He made it possible. He was the godfather of jazz in this area.
Arguably, George Morrison was Colorado's most celebrated violinist, an arranger, composer, band leader, club owner, and music teacher. In 1941, Downbeat magazine called him the best musician west of KC. His brothers were all musicians, his father a champion fiddle player of the county.
And when I was a little boy, at the age of 2 years, I used to crawl under the bed, under my father's and mother's bed where he would keep his fiddle, and I'd open up the box and take it out because I always wanted to learn to play the violin. I love the violin.
In the 1920s, Morrison recorded with Columbia Records and gave command performances for the King and Queen of England. He directed Mamie Smith's first blues recording and toured with the famous Pantages circuit in vaudeville. A featured act on the circuit was his wife's aunt, singer Hattie McDaniel. McDaniel became the first black woman to win an Academy Award for her role in Gone with the Wind.
Won't you tell me that you love me, just to soothe my aching heart?
George Morrison was a regular at Denver's finest hotels. His band included the greats Jelly Roll Morton, Jimmy Lunsford, and Andy Kirk, who later formed his own band, Andy Kirk and the 12 Clouds of Joy. Morrison owned 2 nightclubs, the Casino on the Points and the Rock Rest in Golden.
My Lord, Alden, I had a sign up there. This place is heated by George Morrison music. We never had a stove in it. And we go all winter long. Between that moonshine and my music, we really kept that place hot.
He played all over. He played for everyone. He played for the movie stars. It was just play, play. He loved to play.
His daughter, Marion Morrison Robinson, has fond memories of growing up. She's a classical pianist and has accompanied Paul Robeson, Marian Anderson, and Ella Fitzgerald.
I would go every place with my father. He used to sing Dirty Hands, Dirty Face. They came out when I was about 3 years old. And they would take the soot from the coal stove and put it on my face, and then my father would put me on his knee and sing Dirty Hands and Dirty Face to me.